Hi. Gotta do it again. Hi, this is Jerry Kelly.
We send you over to 12 now, Jerry Kelly.
The players Jerry Kelly hated. That's what everyone wants to know about, but here's the thing. When Kelly talks about the guys he battled against his entire career, what comes out of his mouth isn't hatred at all. It's something way more powerful. It's respect. The kind of respect you only have for someone who pushed you to your absolute limit. To understand why Kelly's rivalries mean so much, you need to know where he came from. Madison, Wisconsin. Frozen hockey rinks. Jerry Kelly wasn't always a golfer. He was an all-city ice hockey player at Madison East High School. That's where his competitive soul was born. Hockey teaches you to be aggressive, to fight for every inch, to never back down. Golf is the opposite. It demands patience and precision. But Kelly brought that hockey mentality with him to the golf course. And it became his trademark. People called him a grinder, an everyman, a guy with a chip on his shoulder, and they were right. Because Kelly's path to the PGA Tour was brutal. He failed to earn his tour card at qualifying school 6 times in a row. 6 times. The last 3 failures came by just 1 stroke. Most people would have quit. Most people would have walked away and found something else to do with their lives. But not Jerry Kelly. His response was simple. Screw this, I'm never going back to Q school. The next year, 1995, he dominated the Nike Tour and finished #1 on the money list. He earned his PGA Tour card through pure force of will. That's the foundation of everything that came after. This kind of mentality is what makes sports so incredible. Rivalries built on respect and a refusal to quit. If you're loving this deep dive into Jerry Kelly's competitive fire, hit that subscribe button right now and drop a comment below telling me about a time when you refused to quit on something that mattered to you. The first and most important rivalry of Jerry Kelly's career is with Steve Stricker, but calling it a rivalry doesn't do it justice. Kelly himself said it best. Some of the best fights you have are with your brothers. That's what Stricker is to Kelly, a brother. They grew up together in Madison, Wisconsin. They played junior golf together, their families became friends, and they've been competing against each other for more than 4 decades. The story starts in 1984 at the Wisconsin High School State Championship. The tournament was held at Century World in Stevens Point. Steve Stricker won the state title that day. Jerry Kelly finished tied for 10th, 7 strokes behind. Even decades later, Kelly remembers that result. It set a pattern that would last for years. Stricker often reached a slightly higher level of success, and Kelly was always chasing him. When they both made it to the PGA Tour, their paths stayed parallel but different. Stricker became a 12-time PGA Tour winner. He climbed into the world's top 10. He partnered with Tiger Woods at the Ryder Cup. He became a star. Kelly carved out his own career as a grinder. He won 3 times on the PGA Tour and earned nearly $30 million through consistency and hard work. He made 616 starts on tour. That's a career built on showing up and competing every single week. But here's the beautiful part. Despite their different levels of success, their friendship only grew stronger. In 2009, they won the Franklin Templeton Shark Shootout together. Their families went on vacations together. They supported each other through everything. It created this fascinating contradiction. 2 of the closest friends in golf, but their biggest competitive desire was to beat each other. When they both moved to the PGA Tour champions, the rivalry reached a new level. They weren't just friends from Wisconsin anymore. They were 2 of the most dominant players on the entire tour, and they kept ending up in final round pairings, fighting for championships. The 2019 U.S. Senior Open at Notre Dame's Warren Course was a perfect example. Stricker played brilliantly and won by 6 strokes. The runner-up was Jerry Kelly. The week before that tournament, Kelly had beaten Stricker in a playoff, which made their final pairing even more intense. But Kelly got his revenge later that year. At the American Family Insurance Championship in their hometown of Madison, Kelly won a 3-man playoff. He birdied the 3rd extra hole to beat Retief Goosen and Steve Stricker, who was actually hosting the tournament. Imagine that, beating your best friend at his own event, on your home turf, in front of your shared community. That's the ultimate statement. The story came full circle in 2023. The U.S. Senior Open returned to Century World, the same course where they had competed in high school 39 years earlier. This time, they were both in contention to win a major championship in their home state. The atmosphere was electric. They were rivals, but they were also Wisconsin's favorite sons, united in a quest against the best players in the world. In the end, both were beaten by Bernhard Langer's historic performance, but the event proved something important. Their rivalry had become a celebration of their shared history and everything they built together. The relationship between Kelly and Stricker is symbiotic. They make each other better. Kelly has said that Stricker's success on the Champions Tour motivates him. What Steve is doing right now is special, no question about it. The last thing we want him to do is drop off at all. We want him to keep his trajectory going. We need to catch up. It shows you how much better you need to be to compete. That's not jealousy. That's competitive fire. That's a man who sees greatness in his friend and wants to reach that same level. And the respect goes both ways. In 2022, Stricker was struggling with his putting. He's always been one of the best putters in the game, but something was off. So he turned to Jerry Kelly for help. Kelly and Stricker's wife Nikki worked together to identify a flaw in his setup. After the impromptu lesson, Stricker went out and shot a 64 with 9 birdies. Think about that for a second. A player of Stricker's caliber with all his success, asking his biggest rival for help, and Kelly giving it to him. That's the ultimate proof that their rivalry is built on love and respect, not hatred. If the rivalry with Stricker is a battle between brothers, the dynamic between Jerry Kelly and Bernhard Langer is completely different. It's a chase. Langer is the undisputed king of the PGA Tour champions. He holds the all-time record with 46 victories. He's not just an opponent, he's a monument. He's a historical figure that everyone else on the tour is measured against. Kelly has established himself as one of the few players who can consistently challenge Langer. Week after week, Kelly's name appears next to Langer's on leaderboards, but it's not an even fight. Langer is chasing history and setting records that might never be broken. Kelly is trying to win tournaments against the man who wins more than anyone else. The 2023 U.S. Senior Open at Century World was the perfect example of their dynamic. For Kelly, it was a rare chance to win a major championship in his home state with the full support of the Wisconsin crowd. He entered the final round in the final pairing, just 2 strokes behind Langer. His friend Steve Stricker was 1 shot further back. Everything was set up for a storybook ending, but Bernhard Langer had other plans. At 65 years old, Langer played with the calm, methodical precision that has defined his entire career. While Kelly battled his swing and the massive pressure of the moment, Langer dismantled everyone's hopes. He birdied 3 of the first 5 holes and built a lead he would never give up. Kelly shot a final round 71 to Langer's 70 and finished in 3rd place. He had to watch as Langer claimed his record-breaking 46th victory, but Kelly's reaction tells you everything you need to know about their rivalry. He said having a front row seat to 45 and 46 was special because he considers himself a really good friend of Bernhard's. There's no bitterness in that statement, only admiration for greatness, even when it came at his own expense. Kelly joked afterward that Langer can retire now, but it was said with the humor of a competitor who understands the impossible task of beating a legend. Langer acknowledged the significance too. He said he was proud to beat Stricker and Kelly on their home grounds, which proves he viewed them as his most dangerous challengers. It was a painful loss for Kelly, but it solidified something important. He's one of the main players standing between Bernhard Langer and even more history. Beyond Stricker and Langer, Kelly's career has been defined by battles against other Hall of Fame players who joined the Champions Tour at the same time he did. Ernie Els and Jim Furyk. These rivalries are less about long-term narratives and more about specific, high-pressure moments in final rounds and playoffs. The 2025 Mitsubishi Electric Classic at TPC Sugarloaf was a classic duel with Ernie Els. Kelly opened the tournament with a record-breaking 62, setting both the course and tournament scoring records. After 36 holes, he was tied for the lead with Els. The final round became a head-to-head showdown. Kelly fired a 67 with 6 birdies to hold off Els, who posted a 68. The one-stroke victory was Kelly's 13th win on the Champions Tour and his first of the 2025 season. After the win, Kelly's words showed how much it meant to beat someone like Els. I'll tell you what, Ernie is one of the best people out here, and I respect the heck out of him. To go head-to-head with him, it's like Ernie. It's hard not to get caught up in just being with him. That's the voice of a competitor who understands the honor of beating a global icon in a final round battle. The duel with Jim Furyk tells the opposite story. At the 2020 Pure Insurance Championship at Pebble Beach, Kelly and Furyk went to a playoff. Furyk is a grinder just like Kelly. Unconventional swing, relentless competitor, gritty mentality. On the first playoff hole, Furyk made a birdie to win the title. It was a tough loss for Kelly, especially because it came in only Furyk's 2nd start on the Champions Tour. But that loss doesn't define Kelly's performance under pressure. His overall playoff record on the Champions Tour is 3 wins and 1 loss. That's a remarkable ability to thrive when everything is on the line. The battles with Els and Furyk taken together paint the complete picture. Kelly isn't invincible, but he's always in the arena, fighting the best players of his generation for championships. After looking at all these rivalries, one final truth becomes clear. Jerry Kelly's greatest rival has always been himself. His physical limitations, his own high standards, the passage of time. For years, Kelly has competed through serious pain. He has a bad back with 2 bulging discs. More recently, he was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, a chronic condition that causes joint pain and fatigue. Every swing of the golf club is a challenge. Friends and competitors have told him to rest, to take time off and heal. But Kelly's response shows who he really is. He'd rather be on a golf course than at home on a couch. That stubborn refusal to give in to his body is the ultimate expression of his competitive spirit. From the 6 Q school failures that launched his career to the injuries that could end it, Kelly has used adversity as fuel. His own words are his mission statement. There ain't no quit in me, okay? As long as there's a fight left to be fought, I'm going to be in the mix. I'm going to be in the middle of it. That internal fire connects all his external rivalries. Beating Stricker, chasing Langer, dueling with Els and Furyk. They're all just different stages for the same fundamental fight. Jerry Kelly's legacy isn't measured only by his 22 professional wins or his more than $30 million in career earnings. It's a legacy of pure tenacity. He's the hockey player who brought a fighter's mentality to golf. He's the short hitter who found a way to compete with the giants of the game. He's the aging athlete who battles a chronic illness and still remains at the top of his sport. His rivalries gave him the opponents and the stages, but the real drama was always internal. The hatred suggested at the start of this video is actually a fierce competitive love for the struggle itself. Jerry Kelly's ultimate victory isn't any single trophy. It's his enduring, defiant presence in the arena. For a grinder, the fight is its own reward. So the next time you hear about a player hating their opponent, remember Jerry Kelly's story. Hatred in sports is often the highest form of respect. It's what happens when you face someone who makes you better, who pushes you to your limit, who earns every ounce of your competitive fire. Drop a comment and tell me about a rivalry in any sport that you think defines this kind of respect. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories that go deeper than the headlines. Thanks for watching.